Hello, so hopefully this one will be a little short, although I do tend to ramble, so who knows. Oh, and I'm getting a microphone so that the audio doesn't sound like ass because the camera quality is really good, but the microphone is over here instead of facing me, so you get all this other ambient noise and all that other bullshit. Anyway, like I said, I ramble. So a reader wrote in to ask how my digital book sales were doing, and I forgot the name, I'm sorry. But for those of you who don't know, I recently put together my first print collection of the comic, and I've been selling it online and at shows. And along with this, when you buy the physical copy, you also get a digital version. But I'm also selling the digital version straight up online. So if you don't feel like this is the way of the future, if you'd rather read your comics on an iPad, you can get a straight up digital version. It's instant delivery, multiple formats, PDF, there's Mobi, I think there's a EPUB version, all that in one big package. Read it on any digital device you want. And so I put the digital version up on a couple of different sites. Indie Isle was the site that actually did the conversions for me, for which I am eternally grateful. I'm going to put a link to them in the show notes because they went above and beyond and got all these formats together, which is great because I don't have all of these devices to test it on, so they did it for me. And then a couple of the other digital publishing sites that host comics, as well as my own site. And I think I'm hooked up with like 7 different vendors, or five or 7 different vendors. I don't remember which ones exactly. And out of all of those, I have sold a whopping two copies of the digital comic. Now I'm not terribly disappointed because I don't depend on digital sales for my comic income, I guess. And I actually do I do enjoy meeting the people that I'm selling the books to, so I really emphasize, selling these at shows and hanging out and stuff like that. I don't know, I put the digital copies up if people want them. Clearly people don't want them. But there's also, there are a couple of things that I haven't done that I think could boost those digital sales. One, I'm terrible at marketing. Besides updating on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and those kind of things, I'm not very good at actively going out to places that might where the audience might like my comic. Like I don't hit up message boards that deal with office humor or Asian American issues or gay and lesbian issues and things like that. These are all things I mentioned in the comic and in my blog posts, but outside of that, I don't really go out and find these venues, and I think if I was more aggressive in that regard, I might see a bump in sales. There are ways to get the word out without just straight up paying for advertising. There are communities out there that you can participate in, and if you have something valuable to say, people will check your shit out and say, oh, look at this. He's got a digital book. I want to see more of his stuff. So I'm terrible at promotion. And that's one of the reasons why I think my digital sales and just my sales overall are not as good as maybe I would like them to be. I kind of spoiled because I have a day job, so I don't depend on comic income, but I think I'd be a little bit more panicky if I only made 2 sales on my digital stuff. The other thing that I think I could have done a little bit better, and this is something that I could still do, and actually the first thing I could still do, I could still go out and promote more aggressively than I do. The digital copy is $4.99, and I think if I released it initially for free, that might have boosted interest in it, because a lot of these comic sites have review sections. Amazon has a review section. Barnes & Noble has a review section. And a lot of people use those reviews to kind of gauge interest, or to gauge, what's coming in, what's happening. New books. If no one's ever read it, they look to reviews to see what it's like. And a good way to get reviews is if you offer your shit up for free, and people will download it. Just, oh, we'll try it out. It's free. And if they like it, maybe they'll write in a review. And if they don't like it, maybe they'll write in a review. But they will write something. Somebody in that chain of downloading your free ebook will write a review somehow. And then, after a week or 2 weeks, you can put your price up the way you want it, and those reviews will still be there. So other people, when they're cycling through and they see this new comic that they've never heard of, they're like, oh, well, what do other people think? And then they'll check out the reviews and see what they're like. So I think there are ways to not necessarily game the system, but put your best foot forward so that at least you have more of a chance. Because right now, if you go to Amazon or Barnes and Nobles or any of those other sites and you look up my comic, you'll see my description and you won't see shit else. And so if I want to get reviews at all, I think offering them up for free might be a good way to do it. So I don't know, that might be something I do around Christmas time, because that seems like a good holiday thing. Get some free comics while you're sitting home miserable with your in-laws and your relatives and all that other crazy shit that happens around Christmas time. So that might actually be a good idea. I've never really had stuff to sell before, so maybe having a Christmas sale or a holiday sale would be kind of cool. So who knows? But those are two big things that I think I am not doing, and I think you could do if you're selling digital comics. And so hopefully my mistakes will benefit you. And the nice thing about doing these, more aggressively advertising by participating in the community and offering up your ebook for free, they are relatively low cost things that you can do. The community one takes time, and offering your book up for free is certainly not the best way to generate revenue. But if no one's buying your book anyway, like no one's buying my book now, so if I made it free, I'm no worse off than I was when it was $4.99, and I can always raise it back to $4.99. So I'll see. I think I might try that experiment when December rolls around. So I have a month to prepare and work out the kinks and figure out all that other stuff. So I'm gonna stop now because I'm gonna keep rambling. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a good weekend, and I'll catch you later. Bye.